The following show is a Pod Avenue production. You are cordially invited to have dinner with the King. Pull up a chair and join WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler and Glenn Moore. Enjoy.
It's episode number 80, Dinner with the King. I'm Glenn Moore, and we are back after the holiday season, sitting here at the
palatial estate
of Jerry the King Lawler, WWE Hall of Famer.
I like that because I always remember. Matter of fact, there was a Batman marathon on the other night on IFC channel or something like that. I watched
old school Batman?
Hours. Yeah, old school Batman. And that's the way they would always describe the abode of Bruce Wayne, the palatial estate of businessman Bruce Wayne. So,
well, that's where we are here, and we episode number 80. We took us a few weeks off for the holidays.
Yes, we did.
Not
a few weeks. Was it a few weeks?
Our last episode was Super Clash 3 on December 14th.
Wow.
The holidays went by quick.
Time flies, you're right.
So we took a few weeks off. We had planned a guest host again for this week, but due to scheduling conflicts, the guest of the guest, the guest is bringing his own guest.
That's
for the
crazy.
Show. It's a surprise for the King because it's a person you know very, very well and has never been on the podcast before.
Is he in wrestling? He's
in wrestling. He's a wrestler. You've wrestled him plenty of times.
Really?
He has many personas.
So wait a minute. Let me get this straight. We were going to have a guest,
right?
And the guest has taken it upon himself to bring another guest on.
Right. It's a fan guest host episode, and he, instead of him coming on and talking to you, he wanted to bring a guest for the show. And this man does basically no podcasts. He doesn't do interviews.
Oh wow.
So
it's a man, huh?
It's a man.
So you say it's a man.
That narrows it down too. But he's.
I know who it is already. No, I don't.
It'll be on next week. Scheduling for next week's show.
Speaking of that, that's not a very good clue. But speaking of dumb clues, and I don't want to get on this subject for very long. But did you happen to see The Masked Singer? The new TV show. Yeah, The Masked Singer. Unbelievable, those stupid clues, and then all of a sudden it's first of all it's The Masked Singer, and I thought it was going to be different singers underneath there.
That's what I thought too.
The first one was Antonio Brown of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He got unmasked to be identified as the first masked singer. I guarantee you, I think one of them is going to be Peyton Manning, and I guarantee you one of them before the show's over is going to be Barack Obama. Wait and see.
No.
Yes. He's already cut a record. Barack Obama just made a record. Just cut a record.
How come you're not on there, King?
Well, nobody asked me to be.
You could be on there. You could sing,
The Masked Singer. Sing a medley of my hit.
What would your animal be if you're on The Masked Singer?
Oh, gosh, I don't know, but they have some goofy-looking ones on there.
You could be a lion, king of the jungle.
They already had the lion on there, golden lion. Huh. I don't know.
I could see you being an eagle.
An eagle?
A bald eagle. I forget. Not saying.
No, I think there may. No, there wasn't. There was a peacock.
Peacock.
Yeah, eagle.
What about a shark?
A shark would be good, I guess.
Something dominating. Dominant animal.
But anyway, yeah, they give out these crazy clues, and then they sing, and then when they give out the clues, their voices, it's messed up or something, and then all of a sudden they sing, and then they got to try to guess who it is. Out of all the people in the world, you got to narrow it down to one person.
It's ridiculous. I'll be surprised if they get one right.
I would be too.
So what's needed for?
But
judges?
I still, like I said, I think Peyton Manning is going to be the deer, the big deer.
I don't know.
Who knows? You're right.
Well, you're hooked on it though, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Sounds like you are.
I'm sure there's going to be something more important to do than watch The Masked Singer.
So that's going to be an episode. We're going to have a guest. The guest is going to bring a guest. It's going to be a great episode. And then we have some.
We hope.
We hope, yeah. Well, speaking of, Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be in town on Monday.
Here in Memphis.
Yeah, for his own little show. And he's going to be a guest on the podcast.
On Monday?
A Monday night.
Why would he go up against Monday Night Raw?
Well, he's doing shows every day somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
for like 2 weeks, he's everywhere. He's somewhere.
That's tough when you're, I would just try to I would not try to schedule something. You know, I mean, you're competing for the same wrestling fans.
Well, according to the ratings, Raw's not doing very well. So, I mean, who is watching Raw?
I don't know.
So you don't never know.
I don't know.
Well, this is going to be a little bit short episode. We're kind of reset for the new year. For 2019, we do have some guests going to be coming on. Like I mentioned, our surprise guest, Jake the Snake, wants to come on the podcast. So he wants to. We have other surprises. Raw's going to be in town for Memphis.
It is going to be in town. It's January 14th. Yeah.
So that's going to be happening as.
Are you staying around till then?
I am. I'm not staying here though.
I know.
So I'm out of your hair.
Okay, sort of out of my hair. Yeah.
What?
You're sort of out of my hair.
But we recorded this on a Saturday, and in about an hour, we're leaving for Jackson, Tennessee.
Yes.
And you're going to be facing off against Tommy Rich.
Wildfire Tommy Rich. And this has been a long time coming. The promoter up there, USA Wrestling, Bert Prentice, he's been trying to put this match together for a long time. And I'm really excited about it. You know, it's like it's hard to find matches anymore, especially like if you watch TV matches. It just seems like all these guys are just thrown against each other for no rhyme or reason. But this match has a lot of history behind it, going back to. Do you have any idea what year that was when I wrestled Austin Idol in the cage with our hair at stake? Both of our hairs were at stake, and both our hairs, both of our heads of hair were at stake in this match. It was inside a cage,
right?
And I had never lost a hair match in my life. And then somehow, some way, Tommy Rich, before the night even started, he had to get under the ring before the night even started. This was like back pre, I know in the WWE sometimes they'll cut out the lights and they'll have something going on and they'll sneak somebody down, right before a match where they can be underneath the ring. But this was in the days where we just maybe didn't think about doing that or weren't able to cut the lights out and that sort of thing. But he had to get underneath the ring before the matches even started. That night.
Even came in, right?
He was there all night long. Apparently, had a 6-pack of beer, and that's the story. The way the story goes. Anyway, finally they set the cage up around the ring.
Hold on 1 second.
What?
So if you're underneath the ring for that, obviously that's the main event. Hair.
Yeah,
match.
Sure.
So that's what 2 hours.
He was there. Yeah. Well, he was probably under there. He was probably under there at least an hour and a half before our match started.
Okay, so what? Got a 6-pack of beer. There's no TV monitor, right?
No, nothing.
So what do you do?
You don't do anything. You just sit under there, I guess.
Can you sit or you lay or?
Well, yeah. There's probably about 4 feet from the floor to the bottom of the ring, and of course there's like the bottom is there's it's metal poles that go across on the bottom of the ring. So yeah, I'm sure he didn't have a whole lot of room.
So you just sit there.
He just sits there, yeah. And he sat there until the match was, the deciding point in the match where it looked like I had Austin Idol beat. And all of a sudden, from underneath the ring, also, Paul Heyman was managing Austin Idol.
So how does he know when to come out?
But Paul Heyman was on the outside of the cage, and I'm sure it was a signal from Heyman. Then suddenly here comes Tommy Rich out from under the ring. Boom! He caused me to get beat. Caused me to get my head shaved, and then from there they went on to proceed to give me the post into the old Make-A-Wish deal. Pull my legs into the post. Wound up having to have surgery. Missed a lot of time from wrestling for that.
Well, that was not for that. That was
it was just part of that. Yeah, okay. Made it not very pleasant. But anyway, so then that, finally Tommy Rich and I are going to get back in the ring tonight up in Jackson, Tennessee. Oman Arena. I love to go to Oman Arena there in Jackson because it's just a little bit smaller version of the Mid-South Coliseum. They built the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. Then they went up to Jackson, Tennessee, about 75 miles from Memphis, and they built a replica of the Coliseum, except I think it holds about 8,000 people, where the Mid-South Coliseum would hold about 10,500 or something like that. And it's still, it's still viable. They still use it for different events, and we go in there, and Bert Prentice has wrestling there like once a month, and so I'm always excited to go into that building because it reminds me of going into the Mid-South Coliseum.
Okay, so do you remember the year of that hair versus hair match?
Could it have been 83? I don't know. That's wrong.
87.
87. Wow.
So 30, almost 32 years ago.
Wow. A lot of water under the bridge. But I still think about that match a lot. So this match tonight will bring back a lot of memories. I'm sure Tommy Rich thinks about that match a lot.
I'm sure he does.
I know we actually did a meet and greet one time a few years back, and I was there, Jimmy Hart was there, Austin Idol was there, and Tommy Rich was there. And that was people wanted to have their picture made with the three of us, because of the notoriety of that match. So
Lucky P will be in Tommy Rich's corner.
Lucky Pete, yeah.
Lucky P, and then Stephen Tate is going to be in your corner.
Yeah, do you know Stephen Tate?
I do not.
Well, Stephen Tate is a nice guy that I met not too long ago, and he owns Tate Family Groceries up around that area, and in a few different cities in the West Tennessee, and he is a big sponsor of the match. So That's how he got in my corner. I've told him that your main duty is going to make sure there's nobody underneath the ring.
Yeah.
When we have this match. So he's not a wrestler or any kind of anything like that, but I'm sure he can kind of keep an eye out for any goofy goings on while the match is going.
Watch out for those big guys in masks underneath the ring. You never know.
That's what I'm saying. That's his number one duty. He's got to check out the. Yeah, I remember that too. Where'd that happen?
Was it the Memphis Hustle game?
Yeah. Were you weren't underneath the ring, were you?
No, I was in the crowd.
Yeah.
I was cheering you on, and then
I donned a mask to try to look like your all-time favorite Vader, Big Van Vader. You did look a lot like him with a mask
then
on.
I threw a 2x4.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you a lesson, King.
Okay. All right. Anyway, but the match, this is not even going to be out by the time.
No, but I'm just saying, this is,
Yeah, the match is tonight,
right, yeah.
as we speak. And that's why we probably got to leave here in about 45 minutes.
40 minutes. Really quick, a few topics to talk about for the podcast. Like I said, this is going to be more like a little reset to get ready for the new year. 80th episode of the podcast.
Well, I know one thing you want to talk about, but let me get into something else that is talking about reset and talking about the new year that I'm really excited about. Let's see. Well, gosh, it was just yesterday. Lauren and I went down and met with the Brain Trust, as you will, Tony and Rick there, and Fitzgerald's Casino down in Tunica, Mississippi. And we had a long meeting with them, and we had Scott Spiropoulos from Channel 24 and Channel 30, and the manager, Joe Dank, was there as well. So we had a great meeting, and there's just so much potential. And I'm not going to tell you now, but I can tell you in the very near future, right after the first of the year, we're going to have some big, exciting announcements involving the King, involving Memphis Classic Wrestling, TV show, and Fitzgerald's Casino and Channel 30. It's going to be. We got some great plans. First of all, I will go ahead and tell you that I want to invite everybody, because this is already set in stone. Jerry the King Lawler, yours truly, is going to be hosting and having a huge Super Bowl party.
Oh,
Super Bowl party at Fitzgerald's Casino. And we're just in the process of putting together a lot of cool things that are going to go on during that day, and then of course we'll be there for the game that night. But Super Bowl party, and that is when is Super Bowl? That's February the 3rd. Yeah, February the 3rd. Come on down, spend the day with us at Fitzgerald's Casino. We're going to have all kind of stuff. You and I know about the show Beer Money that's on in Cleveland. Well, we're going to do a version of Beer Money. I and Lauren, and we're going to have some people there that are going to get people up out of the crowd, people that have come to the Super Bowl party. We're going to give them an opportunity to win some big prizes, big money, just by answering Super Bowl trivia. So if you want to come to our Super Bowl party, kind of study up on some of the. How many Super Bowls have been? Is this over 50 already?
Definitely over 50. Yeah,
50. I think it's 53.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do a little studying. They won't be too hard. The questions won't be too hard, but we're going to get some people up on the stage and ask some Super Bowl trivia questions, and we're going to have a great time down there. It's going to be good. Super Bowl party at Fitzgerald's Casino, February 3rd. King will be hosting it.
King will be hosting.
Yes, sir.
looking forward to that. All right, little tidbits of news here.
Okay.
We started off the year on a sad note with the passing of Mean Gene Okerlund, long-time backstage interviewer, 1-900 hotline, WCW, WWF, AWA. I mean, he's one of the guys that if you didn't even watch wrestling, you knew who Mean Gene was.
Oh, of course. And it's not sad, but I guess just a sign of the times is the fact that, like you said, you introduced him as a backstage interviewer. But I mean, Mean Gene has been around the business. Somebody sent me a couple of pictures or put them up on Twitter that I was all excited about. I don't even remember seeing half of them. One of them was Mean Gene in the AWA introducing me in a match, and that match was in 1983. That's why I had that date in my mind a few minutes ago. But yeah, they sent this picture of Mean Gene in a match that I had in the AWA in 1983, and he was doing the introductions. And then somebody also put up a picture that had to be from right before WrestleMania in Orlando, Florida, maybe the first WrestleMania in Orlando, and it was so cool. I don't even remember taking the picture. I had never seen it until just a couple of days ago. But it was me, Mean Gene, Jimmy Hart, and Hillbilly Jim recreating the Abbey Roads, the old Beatle Abbey Roads album cover. Jimmy Hart had no shoes on. It was the four of us walking across a street, and I didn't even know where it was, but some of the people on Twitter, realized and remembered seeing that. But it was from somewhere in Orlando, and I can't remember what year it was, 90-something.
They had it. I think that wasn't in the 90s. I don't think. I think it was Orlando was 2007.
Oh, okay, well maybe you're right. You think it was that late? I got there in 93. Right. You know what? I tell you what, I can look on my phone here because a lot of people have retweeted that, and they told me exactly when it was. But because
97, Mean Gene was in WCW.
In 97?
Yeah, 97. That was the height of the Attitude Era. I mean, that definitely wasn't 97. That had to be 2007.
Oh, okay. Well, you would know more about it than me. Okay, here's the tweet.
And in the background, because I think one of you is wearing a WrestleMania Orlando shirt.
Oh, really?
It has the logo from that one in 2007.
Somebody even wrote, I was standing there when this picture was taken in Orlando at WrestleMania 24 weekend.
Okay, 2008.
That was Kyle Keating, and he was there. And somebody else said 100% Orange Avenue in downtown Orlando.
There you go. Yeah, so that's 2008 then.
Wow. But anyway, that was a cool picture. But yeah, it was sad. Nobody, I guarantee you're not going to hear anybody say a bad word about Mean Gene Okerlund. He was a cool guy, a great guy. And the tweet that I sent out is the main thing you remember about Mean Gene. He every time I would be around him, he had a smile on his face, a drink in his hand, and he was just, he was just there to help anybody any way he could, or to do anything he could to make the shows better. And and of course, you hear all the great things after somebody passes away. It's a shame that people don't get out and say these great things about people while they're still with us. But I was watching some of his. They've been putting up some of his classic interviews, that he did with different wrestlers over the years. And if you just, there's not many guys around that had the ability to supposedly just be the guy that's holding the microphone for somebody else, for the star wrestler to cut his promo, that could make you watch them instead of the wrestler. Yeah. But Mean Gene had that ability. I mean, his facial expressions, his reactions to the things that the wrestler said during the interviews, his questions, he had that unique talent. I mean, and that was a real talent to elevate what his position was into being a star himself. Most people don't think of the guy that's interviewing stars as a star, but Mean Gene had that talent to become that. And he was just a I don't know how to describe it any better. Just a really great guy to be around. One of my favorite times of being with Mean Gene was I have the worst on years. I cannot remember what year these different things happened, but a few years back, JR calls me up, and I think it was JR that put the thing together. But we did probably the first thing, like Jake Roberts is doing here in Memphis. You know, he's going out and having a big meet and greet and question and answer type thing. And JR and I have been doing it. You know, we did it at Hilarities up in Cleveland, and we did it in Chicago. We did it in Nashville. Well, I think maybe the first one ever done was years back, and it was me, JR, and Mean Gene Okerlund at a casino somewhere in Oklahoma. And it was just, it was just a great experience. The three of us out on a stage, first time any of us had done, that sort of thing. And Mean Gene he had some, great stories, and the interaction with him and the fans and with me and JR. It was just a great time to spend, several hours with Gene.
That was 2013.
2013.
Yep, 6 years ago.
Gosh, now that does seem longer than that.
Yeah, 6 years ago. That's when it took place. And I echo what you said. Wrestling legends. They, when you get older, everybody else gets older. And make sure when you see your wrestling legends, make sure you tell them how you feel. Yeah. Because
I understand that we just heard that I guess Hulk Hogan, they're going to bring back Hulk to be on Monday Night Raw this week to give his personal tribute. I guess probably Hulk and Mean Gene are synonymous. Those two guys. And Ric Flair, I guess, is going to be there as well to talk about Mean Gene. Well, that's all. That's great. I'm looking forward to under these kind of circumstances as well as you can, but looking forward to having Hulk back on TV.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be cool.
And to see Rick too, both synonymous with Mean Gene, but just to have him on WWE TV would be great.
Right.
I love the classic stuff.
Right.
Love that. Also, a big tit news hitting the social media.
Did you just say big tit?
What'd you say? Tidbit.
Oh, big tidbit
of news.
We really got off the subject quick.
Is a new wrestling promotion going to throw their hat in the ring, so to speak, when it comes to professional wrestling on a national scale, and that is AEW, All Elite Wrestling. They have a rally going next weekend in Jacksonville. A lot of details are coming are coming to light about this new promotion. I guess it's going to be backed by the son of the Jacksonville Jaguars owner. Yeah, that's already out there. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is.
I know his son, and a huge wrestling fan, and has been involved in different things wrestling wise. But main thing, he owns a professional soccer team in London, England. His dad, of course, owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're billionaires. I think the family fortune is well over almost $7 billion. Wow. Which is a lot of money, and I understand they're going to put a lot of money into starting up this new wrestling promotion. JR and I were kind of talking about it the other day, and I said, I don't know if I had $7 billion if I would be thinking about starting up a new wrestling promotion.
$7 billion?
A wrestling promotion, starting a wrestling promotion can make a millionaire out of a billionaire.
Right.
Or maybe even a thousandaire out of a billionaire. I don't know. It's just, I just think it's an expensive proposition, and I don't know how, I hope it does well, because believe it or not, competition is the best thing for anything. The best times that the WWE ever had was during the Monday Night Wars, when they were, you had two wrestling shows on at the same time on Monday nights, two different companies, and they were getting 7 and 8 million people watching each one of them.
Unbelievable.
And now, you struggle to get 2 million to watch the only show in town. So, I would wish them luck. I think, it's going to be, it's definitely will be a force to be reckoned with. When you have that much money, you can do pretty much anything. I mean, I think they'll definitely get the thing off the ground, and they'll definitely be able to hire some, big name talent and that sort of thing. But is the climate right now that people want an alternative?
I think they do.
You do?
I think if they're going to go WB style with like PG, and you can't push the envelope, then I think it's not going to fail. It's going to be just another like a TNA or a Lucha Underground. It's going to be just another promotion. But they push adult content. They have a network deal. I think they can do well because I see Fox is throwing $1 billion at WWE for SmackDown, and SmackDown can't even get 2 million viewers.
Yeah. And you know what's amazing is the fact that you're talking about, and I agree with you about the adult content. I mean, that's all I hear about from fans, is how much they miss the Attitude Era and that sort of thing, and with the little more of adult content. But that doesn't fly anymore with major advertisers. And I don't know, it's just hard to say. If they get a good slot on TV, on a good cable station, will they need to worry about advertisers? Right. And if that's the case, then if they don't, then they can, they can probably go for a little more adult-oriented show. And the funny thing is, it's amazing. If you watch 80% of the primetime TV show, like a show like Mom or different shows that are on now, man, they're definitely PG-13 if anything. I mean, they have so much sexual and adult content in the shows that are on nowadays anyway. I mean, tons more than you have in a wrestling show.
I agree.
But they're on network TV, so who knows? I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens.
Well, like I said, Cody Rhodes is going to be a part of it. Young Bucks, the whole elite. There's some other wrestlers going to be a part of it. They have executive titles in the promotion, but not a lot of news has come out from this. I guess the rally's in a few days, so we'll know more then in Jacksonville. But hey, if they can get a network deal, the guy wants to throw a lot of money into it. Like you said, competition is great for everybody.
Yeah, it is. One thing I'd remind the guy is don't have too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that happened and caused the demise of WCW back in the day. You get a lot of the, a lot of the wrestlers all of a sudden be involved in making
decisions,
business decisions, which I don't know if that's always the best thing. It's funny. Before we went on there, we saw a tweet that was just sent out by JR.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I really wasn't talking about that. I was actually going to talk about it. He sent out two in a row.
Okay.
One was two girl wrestlers, and some move called the tuna. And JR he echoed both our comments once we saw the clip. It was just embarrassing.
Do you want to give the play-by-play of what's going on so people know what the tuna is?
It's two girls wrestling,
right?
And they're outside the ring, and one of them has the other girl kind of down and incapacitated, and she backs up and says, well, I'm just telling you what we saw in the tweet.
I know.
JR sent it out, so we'll blame him in the long run. But apparently the girl says, you want to smell the tuna?
Oh, my God.
And then she proceeds to reach down in her tights into the front of her tights and, kind of fiddle around down there a little bit. And then she brings her hand out.
Carpenters, put the kids to bed right now. Carpenters.
Yes. And so anyway, then as you can imagine, puts her hand in the other girl's face, and it was embarrassing. Yeah.
Well,
right.
okay. No. There's more to this story, King.
What?
She has something in her hand.
Oh, she did?
You didn't see what she had in her hand?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, she goes down there in her area. She pulls out her tampon.
Oh,
and
no.
shoves it down her throat.
No, she did not.
I swear. King.
No, you're wrong. You got.
I'm not
on
wrong.
that. I stopped. I'd really stopped watching it.
Dude,
at the point where she just stuck her hand down her tights. No, well, we shouldn't. I don't even know if that should. I don't even know if that is. Oh my God, you're right. We're looking at it now.
Now, I have no words.
Well, embarrassing is a good word.
Yeah.
Well, now that is too much adult content, right there.
That's
way too much.
What? I mean, okay. You've been in a lot
What kind of wrestling promotion did that?
Do we want to give credit to them? You want to even?
I don't even
want to give.
Yeah.
Any
but
kind
the crowd, what crowd there was there started the holy crap chant.
You know what gets me hot though is the people in that crowd are chanting that, holy crap, holy crap. Well, but then they'll get upset about like women not being empowered in wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Or puppies chant from 25 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They'll get upset about that, but
if I were to go on TV and say puppies, it's like, oh, that's the end of the world. You're the worst.
But a girl shoving down a bloody tampon on another girl's throat, it's fine.
It's too much.
So
anyway, but one of the other, we got way off track there. But one of the other tweets that JR had put out was about, and I can't remember. I mean, I know what he was talking about, but he said one of his comments was, "Wrestling today is way overproduced." Yeah. And if I were anybody, not just a billionaire, but starting up a new wrestling company, I would take those words to heart because they're true. Wrestling today is way overproduced, and you just got to. I remember what JR's tweet was. It was an interview that he and Jim Cornette did together, where they confronted each other back in the day, and I don't know, it was probably at WCW or maybe I don't know if it's WWE, but anyway, they confronted each other, and they had this long, drawn out, great interview together. And like he said none of this was scripted. None of it was written down. It was just the two guys given some bullet points, and then they went out and did their own thing. And that can still work today. And that's why he said things are too overproduced. And I agree 100%.
Well, do you think that's okay? Writers give the wrestlers what to talk about, and nowadays it's completely scripted. There's a whole script. They have to memorize the script.
Totally.
Do you think that's because they don't trust the wrestlers to go off ad lib, or is that because the wrestlers aren't good enough as Cornette, you, Jim Ross, to be able to have a realistic conversation like that without any kind of script? So do you think it's on the wrestlers today not being able to have a personality to do something like that, or do you think it's
no? I just think the business has changed in a way that. It's done that way now, so that the writers, if all of a sudden they turned it over to let the wrestlers do their own promos, what do you need the writers for? Mm-hmm. So I think that that there's I don't even know how many writers there are in creative now at the WWE, but there's a lot of them, and so it's like every one of them has to justify their job.
Yeah.
So.
Crazy. Well, I'm sure the writer wouldn't put that match with a girl using the tuna on someone.
No, let's stop talking about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, there's a Wrestle Kingdom 13 that happened in Japan. It's like the WrestleMania for Japan, and there's a lot of flippy stuff going on. And this GIF someone posted of a guy doing a flip off the top rope onto the outside, and the guy wasn't even standing there for like 5 seconds. He just flipped. And the guy kicked him in the stomach, but there was no point for the guy flipping at all. It was just, it's like a circus.
What about the guy? There was some, it was fairly recent, where some guy did some kind of flip off the top and landed and fractured a skull. Broke a skull. Did you see that?
Yeah, he did like a 450 or something.
Yeah, and the guy wasn't even there. Boom, and he just landed. No, it was on the table or off the table.
Yeah,
he
did
something.
like a flip. Yeah, but he hit his head. Why?
Well, I got him his 15 minutes of fame, but not the way you'd want. You don't want to get 15 minutes of fame because you did a botched move and then you fractured your skull.
He responded. He said, "Well, the people that the 200 people that were there will remember that for the rest of their lives. I made a moment.
Jeez.
It's like, you're an idiot, first of all. Idiot. All right.
You're an idiot, first of all, idiot.
Anything coming up, King?
Anything coming up? Yeah, the Super Bowl party's coming up soon.
Well,
and
Royal
then, like
Rumble,
I said,
you'll be there.
Royal Rumble, I'm going to be at Royal Rumble. Excited
Arizona.
about that. It's going to be out in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking forward to some decent weather out there. Man, here in Memphis, I don't know about you guys up in Cleveland or whatever, but we've had the worst weather, just rain-wise and cold and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's like 56 degrees today.
Today is a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Today, finally. Except here it is like, 4:45 and it's like already getting dark.
Yeah,
I hate
it's
that.
terrible.
When is the day? When are the days going to start getting longer?
A couple months, probably.
I hope.
Nothing going on? Nothing else going on? Nothing
Let's
booked?
see. Well, how was your Christmas?
It was great. Yours? It was. How was yours?
Well, Christmas was tough. It really was. Without Brian and my son Kevin and Lauren did a lot of work on putting together a commemorative Christmas tree that was Kevin reached out to a bunch of friends and fans and different people that knew Brian and asked them if they would like send an ornament for the tree. And we got tons of people sending and making different ornaments for Brian's tree. And it was a black and gold and Pittsburgh Steelers colors. And it turned out to be just a real nice display or exhibit or whatever you would want to call it. But yeah, it was just it was just like one of the things that we always could rely on Christmas Day was Brian being late for Christmas dinner. Getting here late in the day, and it was not the same. It was kind of tough.
If people want to see what the tree looks like, I posted the link that you did interview with Kevin on TV.
Yeah.
I posted a link on our Twitter page so people can go and look at the tree if they.
Yeah, that's
seen
cool.
it.
And people are still getting stuff to me. David Milligan came by just the day before yesterday, and he brought a WWE World Tag Team Championship belt like the one that Brian and Scotty had when he was there, and he brought that by for us to keep here and be around the tree and everything. But anyway, yeah, that was our Christmas. Looking forward to then the New Year's started off with getting started with Mean Gene dying, and there was a couple of
Super Dave.
Super Dave was always a big. I was a huge fan of Super Dave Osborne back in the day. Really great comedian guy, and then Captain from Captain of Tennille. But somebody else, to me, as far as music wise, I was always, a lot of people realize this too, huge fan of Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show, or just Dr. Hook. And Ray Sawyer, the guy with the eye patch, died. I think the day before Mean Gene, I believe. But anyway, just a bunch of people start kicking off the year the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a good year for the podcast.
Hope so.
And we'll be back next week with a new episode. Sorry for the weird scheduling of this podcast. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks of regularly scheduled. But next week we have with a surprise guest. The guest is bringing a guest for the show.
Guest and a guest.
And you'll enjoy the guest, King, here on Dinner with the King. Follow the show on Twitter at Dinner with King. We're on Instagram. Go to our YouTube channel. And I've been doing some live videos, some live Q&As, talking wrestling, some watch-alongs too. King, I want you get you involved for that too. Just sit in front of a camera and just
hey, you know what I've been doing?
Fans.
You know what I've been doing like every day? The cameos.
Cameos.
Man, the cameos have been great.
King and I are both on Cameo.
You're on Cameo?
I'm on Cameo.
How many have you done so far?
Zero. Mine's only $10.
What? You're lying.
I swear.
You're only charging $10 for a cameo.
I haven't promoted it yet.
Well, see, here's what you got to realize. What's one of the oldest sayings ever?
You charge cheap for Cameo?
No, you get what you pay for.
Well, exactly.
When somebody sees that your cameos are only $10, they're going to say, "Well, that can't be any good."
Well, it's because I'm not well known.
well,
yours are 100, so you're 10 times more well known than I am.
$100 for $100, you get the King to come along, and I've got 5-star rating from every single.
No, you put a lot of work into like
what's his name? Who we talking to? Tommy Lee.
Yeah, Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee, when he does his cameos, it's like he looks like he just woke up in the morning, and he's like, he looks at a name over there and he says, "Okay, hey, Glenn Moore, what the F are you doing?" You MFer, and it was just crazy. But then, and his lasts about maybe 15 or 20 seconds.
Easiest, what, $150 he makes?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I put a lot of time and effort. So if you get a cameo from the King, a personal message about anything, or you send a personal message, I'll do all that. And they're well worth the money and very good.
Getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
You also have those mystery boxes still on the website.
As a matter of fact, I got to put together a mystery box right now. Well, I can't do it before we go to Jackson, but when I get back from Jackson, I got to send one out on Monday morning.
Christmas ones are gone.
Christmas ones are gone.
Yeah, so we have the regular mystery boxes for sale. We have a crown still
Unless
for sale.
I might re-gift some of the stuff that I got. The mystery box.
Don't re-gift that Indian's
Oh my
neon,
gosh,
though.
Lauren got me the greatest. I got to put the picture of that up on Twitter.
Do you want to? You might get a lot of hate tweets for Chief.
Well, yeah, one of my greatest Christmas presents. I love it so much. A neon Chief Wahoo.
It's great.
It is really good in it. So I have a neon Cleveland Browns helmet. Mm-hmm. I have a neon Superman logo, and now I have a neon Chief Wahoo.
There you go. All right, follow Jerry Lawler on Twitter at Jerry Lawler. Follow me at Glenmore CLE. Like I said, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on all social media. We're on Spotify, we're on iHeartMedia, we're on all the podcast platforms. Get caught up with Dinner with the King, and we'll be back next week with a new episode. So thanks for listening. Thanks to all our Patreon supporters, and also thank you to all our people that are going to be guest hosting the show. We'll get back up on that. And if you are a guest, make sure you email me, because some people email them and they get all shy. They don't want to. They get all nervous. So don't be nervous if you're going to sign up to be a guest host here on Dinner.
Right. And we're going to be talking soon too, because I've gotten a lot of questions about the commission art.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing some different ones like that we posted of
Venom,
Wonder
Bill
Woman, Bill Murray,
Bruiser Brody.
And then I just finished a couple recently, Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
And who was the other one? Doctor Who. And,
Doctor Strange? Was it?
No,
that was
I did do a Doctor
yeah.
Strange too, but Doctor Who and we're drawing a blank.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we're going to give out the information, because I had a lot of people after seeing these saying, "How do we go about getting commission you to do some art?"
Yep. So we'll do that on the on your end, or Dinner with King. The way to do that. So we'll talk to everybody next week here on Dinner with the King. King, final word.
Final word is Peyton. Yeah, Peyton's standing there just pointing at himself. I went to Peyton's ball game today, his basketball game. These guys, they was amazing. That was the best basketball game I've ever seen play. I've been to a lot of his basketball games. Today, they played so well as a team. Their coach made them say, "Look, you got to pass the ball at least 3 times before anybody attempts a shot." Oh. And it worked out so well. They scored 42 points.
There you go.
That's good. I've been to games where you guys scored less than 10.
Oh, my God.
But today, 42-14 was their final score.
I think Peyton was pumped up for the Cowboys game.
He was pumped up. Him, Evan, Ross, all those guys played really well.
There you go.
All right.
Final word.
Final word is goodbye. Talk to you next week.
See you there, everybody.
The preceding show is a Pod Avenue production.